Imagine there's a tiny biological timer inside your body, one that determines how fast you age. This timer exists in every cell, and it's called telomeres. But here's the surprising part. They're influenced not only by diet, exercise, or genetics, but also by your thoughts and emotions. Today, we'll explore why that happens. But first, a question. Why do some people at 60 look energetic, vibrant, and active, while others feel tired, apathetic, and drained by 40? Scientists are increasingly finding the answer in telomeres. What are telomeres? Picture a shoelace. At the ends, there are small plastic tips that keep it from fraying. Telomeres work the same way. They're protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes. They shield our DNA. Every time a cell divides, telomeres get a little shorter. And when they become too short, the cell begins to age, or stops dividing altogether. That's why telomere length is directly linked to how fast we age. But here's where it gets interesting. It used to be believed that only genetics affected telomeres, but today science says otherwise. Turns out, one factor shortens telomeres faster than anything else, and most people face it every day. That factor is stress. How stress accelerates aging. When someone lives in constant anxiety, worrying, fearing, expecting problems, the body interprets this as danger. Stress hormones flood the system. Cells shift into survival mode, and telomeres begin to shrink faster. But here's a key insight. Stress isn't just caused by events. It's often caused by how we interpret those events, our reaction. This leads us to what many call the quantum approach to reality. If we look at humans more broadly, we're not just bodies. We're systems of energy, information, and consciousness. Every thought creates an electrical signal in the brain. Every emotion triggers a chemical reaction in the body. In other words, thoughts become biochemistry. If someone constantly thinks, "It's too hard. Life is difficult. I'll never succeed," the body receives a threat signal, and survival mode kicks in. But if someone feels gratitude, joy, inspiration, the body receives a completely different message. Healing processes activate. And here's where a fascinating enzyme comes in, one that can actually help restore telomeres. It's called telomerase. Its job is to help rebuild telomeres, to support the cell's ability to renew itself. And research shows something remarkable. Practices like meditation, mindfulness, deep relaxation, and positive emotional states can increase telomerase activity. That means the body begins to heal more effectively. This isn't magic. It's the interaction between consciousness and biology. Can we consciously influence our biology? If thoughts truly affect the body, can we intentionally change our biology? Our body is constantly listening to what's happening in our mind. If the internal program says, "I'm tired. I have no energy. It's too hard," the body adapts to that reality. But if someone starts forming a different inner picture, like, "My body is healing. I'm filling with energy. Every day I'm getting stronger," over time, biochemistry begins to shift. That's why more and more researchers now say, consciousness is directly connected to the body's processes. How to support cellular health? There are several things that truly help support cell health. Mindfulness. Start noticing your thoughts. Not every thought is true. Meditation and breathing. These shift the body from stress mode into healing mode. Movement. Even a simple walk activates cell renewal. High-level emotions. Gratitude, joy, Inspiration. These create harmonious biochemistry. Telomeres reflect how we live. Telomeres aren't just about aging. They're indicators of how we live our lives. Our thoughts, emotions, and inner states send signals to trillions of cells every day. So maybe the real question isn't how many years we're given, but what inner state we choose each day. Because sometimes a new life begins with just one thought, and over time, it can even change our biology. If you'd like, share in the comments. Have you heard of telomeres before? And if you're interested in topics like mindfulness, consciousness, and the power of the brain, subscribe to the channel. Here, we explore ideas that can truly change your life.